Only the second time in Arsenal's history have they made the Champions League final, and they're up against a massive, massive team in Paris Saint-Germain. Paris Saint-Germain are an unbelievable French side that have dominated Europe last year, and they have pretty much dominated Europe this year. This final is so interesting. You're talking about Paris Saint-Germain, the defending champions. They beat Inter Milan. They absolutely dismantled them last year, 5-0 in Munich in a Champions League final. I really hope that Arsenal don't have this again against them, but you can't argue with the quality that's on the pitch. They are off the back of their 14th Liga title, and they won it, being 6 points clear of Lens. And the gap between the competitors in Liga is crazy. The money that's involved in Paris Saint-Germain, the players that they have, the depth that they have in every single position, allowing them to compete across all fronts. They've rotated heavily during the league phase, and that did impact on their early season form in the Champions League, where they finished, I think it was 11th in the actual overall standings. So they had to go through a playoff place, but they've been rotating that much because they've got so much quality, but equally able to keep them all fresh. And that's been such a key important part of them being able to reach the Champions League final this year. They go and play in the round of 16. And in the round of 16, they go play Chelsea. And they absolutely smash them. They absolutely hammer them. 5-2 in the first leg. In the second leg, they go and win 3-0. Just an unbelievable display of attacking talent, of defensive solidarity. Their ability to keep the ball, their ability to create so many chances from open play on the counter-attack, but just playing really fast football is just brilliant to see. In the quarter-final, they then go and play against Liverpool, and they win comfortably, 2-0 at home and 2-0 away. They dismantle them. And then the semi-final. The semi-final, probably the best game I've ever watched in my lifetime. PSG versus Bayern Munich. They win 5-4 in the first leg. That leg I will never forget for the rest of my life. The quality that was on show from the attacking players, just unreal. Kvaratskhelia is just the best left winger in the world. I think he is a fantastic player to watch. His touch, his dribbling at speed, is incredible. And then they can play against Bayern side, who can score goals themselves. The defending wasn't great on both sides, but just the attacking talent, I think, was just so good on the night that it allowed them to win 5-4. And then they go and draw 1-1 against Bayern, showing their defensive solidarity, showing that actually they can attack, but they can also defend, really resolutely and really solidly. And you think about last year, they actually knocked Arsenal out of the semi-finals, which I think is a real important part to mention for this final going ahead. The PSG players, there's just fantastic players on the pitch. Dembele has got 21 goals in all competitions this year. He's so fast, he's so direct, he's so sharp. He was the Ballon d'Or winner last year. He scored 7 Champions League goals this year. He sent Arsenal home last year with a goal that he scored in the away leg. And big goals against Liverpool and Bayern to secure their place in the Champions League final this year. Kvaratskhelia, again, the best left winger in the world. When he cuts inside and he scores, or when he cuts inside and he creates chances, he's so good at dribbling with the ball at such a high speed and such a high intensity. I think he's absolutely incredible to watch. I love when he pulls the ball back and he cuts it back and provides the assists, and also his running. He's such a strong lad, such a powerful runner that when he presses you, he's just on you and you can't get away from him. He's incredible. Desiree Doué, he's 20 years of age, don't forget. The pace, the quality that he has. You then got Vitinha, this is dictating probably the best holding midfielder in the world. A technically gifted player, superb spatial awareness, superb dribbling with the ball, able to create space for his teammate, João Neves, who just controls the tempo. PSG this season have had 64% possession in the Champions League so far. So expect them to dominate the ball in the Champions League final. Fabian Ruiz coming back at the right time. And what a fantastic player he is. He scored a great goal against Arsenal in the semi-final to send them through on the half volley. Arsenal, their opponents. Now, Arsenal crowned Premier League champions for the first time in 22 years. The greatest day of my life on Sunday when watching them play, watching them lift that trophy. The scenes, the atmosphere was just immense. And, you know, you think Thierry Henry, Pires, Bergkamp, even Nokia phones were about back in the last time that we won the Premier League in 2004. This season finished 7 points clear in the end of Manchester City. A lot of people thought the bottle was on when in April they squandered a 9 point lead to Manchester City and obviously lost to Manchester City in a massive key important game. Set piece goals have been pivotal in Arsenal's season this year, and they have the best defence, only conceding 26 goals in a 37 league game campaign, which is just amazing. They've beat Athletic Club, and they've beaten Bayern Munich in the group stage to get here. Then they beat Bayern Leverkusen 3-1 on aggregate, and then in the quarter-finals against Sporting Lisbon, just narrowly going through with King Kai again putting us through such important goals in really key moments from him. And then in the semi-finals, so Arsenal ended up going to beat Atletico Madrid 2-1 on aggregate, with Saka being the difference. I think when Saka in the big Champions League night, I think he's such a key important rod in the wheel for Arsenal this time, and he sent us through to get us through to the second final in Champions League history for Arsenal Football Club. Arsenal have got the most wins since 1970-71 Arsenal side, with 41 wins this year, showing that just Arsenal have got there with some of these key important players proving a vital part of the squad. Saka, the fourth English player to score in 2 Champions League semi-finals. His dribbling, his balance, his pace, the big game goals that he produces. He is the star boy. He is the man that potentially could win us this final. But he's had an inconsistent year, a very injury-struck year. Madueke's been playing a lot of games, but in these big game moments as he's come back, he's been such an important part of our team. Victor Gyökeres, such a vertical stretcher of the game. 18 goals in all competitions. Such a powerful player, such a great movement off the ball. When he runs his channels, he could be the difference in terms of that vertical running, which maybe we missed last year. Eze and Ødegaard, those creative players, but two very different. You've got Eze, who's going to go and get you the goal, who's going to go and provide those key assists. Martin Ødegaard, though, controls that tempo. I'd be really interested to see what he goes with in that final. Does he go with both of them, with Declan Rice as the holding midfielder, or does he potentially go Lewis Skelly and Rice, or does he bring Zubimendi back into the fold? Who knows? Gabriel and Saliba, just defensive solidarity throughout. And obviously set-piece presence has been absolutely massive this season. The amount of goals that we've scored off set pieces. David Raya, the best goalkeeper in the Premier League this season. I think out of the two sides, David Raya is the better goalkeeper of the two sides, but that could be really important because Arsenal are probably going to face a lot of shots at their goal. Declan Rice is just the dual winner. He's absolutely everywhere on the pitch. Just a fantastic runner, with the ball, without the ball. But what do I think in the final? I think PSG are the massive favourites, and I think it will be, their transition, their attack, versus Arsenal's impeccable defence. I think Arsenal are better in the defensive side of the game. I think PSG are just better all round. But I can't call it. I think PSG maybe just edge it, but overall, I think Arsenal, they're the worst side for a PSG side to play. Aggressive, don't give up, set piece goals. I think they're just so key important elements. I think in open play, they will dominate the game. But what will Arsenal do? Will they find that big moment? Will Saka produce that big moment? Will Eze produce that goal? I think this final is so open. So open. And I think it'll be really interesting to see. I think compared to the Inter Milan side of last year, we have more going forward. I think we have better players going forward than Inter Milan did. But I think defensively, how we deal with Kvaratskhelia, how we deal with Barcola, how we deal with Ousmane Dembele, how we deal with these players, are we able to resist the combination play that they do so fast on that pitch. But the big one I think it comes down to is right back. With Jurrien Timber, is he going to be fit? Is he not going to be fit? Even if he is fit, do you start him because he's been out for so long? But him in that semi-final against PSG last year was such an important player. If he doesn't play, I really worry for a Mascara potentially at fullback. But let's just see. And hopefully Arsenal, please give us the double. Please make it the best moment of the past 22 years to potentially go on and lift for the first time ever the Champions League trophy.